There's a reason people whisper his name with both hope and fear. Ibrahim Traoré, the man who shook Burkina Faso awake, not with speeches, but with action.
Let's get you more on this evolving situation in Burkina Faso.
Ibrahim Traoré.
Ibrahim Traoré.
Burkina Faso.
Before he came, Burkina Faso was a name most people couldn't find on a map. It was silent, invisible. But now, the world is watching, and for good reason. Something is happening in this landlocked nation, something bold, something unstoppable. Traoré didn't just take power, he took a broken system and started rebuilding it from the ground up. And what he's building has never been done before. Not in Burkina Faso, not at this scale. Massive roads where there was once only dust. New industries rising from forgotten towns. Education, energy, health, rising like phoenixes from the ashes of decades of neglect. Some of these projects are still in their early chapters, but others, they're already changing lives, already rewriting the future. This isn't politics, this is transformation. And today, we're taking you inside 10 groundbreaking projects launched by President Ibrahim Traoré. Projects that are turning a once-ignored nation into a rising force. Stay with us, because what you're about to see will change everything you thought you knew about Burkina Faso. One of the clearest signs that a country is rising is what it builds. Not just buildings, but structure, order, vision. And in 2024, Burkina Faso began to rise. Under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, a wave of development was set in motion. Not just talk, real plans, real progress. One of the boldest, the Urban Mobility and Secondary Cities Development Project, backed by the World Bank and fueled by 124 billion CFA francs. This wasn't just another government announcement, it was a mission to transform the way people move, live, and connect. From dusty, overcrowded roads to modern, flowing city routes, this project aims to unlock cities across the nation, to bring progress not just to the capital, but to the forgotten towns, the secondary cities, the beating heart of the people. This is not just infrastructure, this is the foundation of a new Burkina Faso, and it's only the beginning. It's a 5-year plan, but its impact could last for generations. The Urban Mobility Project isn't just about building roads, it's about rewriting the future of Burkina Faso's cities. The mission? To boost access to basic services, to unlock economic opportunities, and to give power back to the people through their cities. At the heart of it all, 50,000 new residential homes, not luxury estates, but affordable homes for the everyday Burkinabe. And the work has already begun. By June 2025, 300 homes will be standing, complete and ready to be lived in. But that's just one piece. The streets are getting smarter. Electric vehicles are being rolled in for public transport. Drainage systems are being built. Public spaces are being reborn. Jobs are being created. This isn't just construction, it's a nationwide transformation. The cities leading the charge? Bobo Dioulasso, Kaya, Wahiguya, once overlooked. Now, they are the front lines of a new vision. According to officials, this isn't just about urban development. It's about restoring dignity, strengthening the presence of the state, and preventing conflict by responding to the needs of the people. Now pause and imagine these cities 5 years from today. Can you see it? Because Traoré does, and he's already building it. But what's the point of building cities if the people can't feed themselves? President Traoré knew this, and that's why he made a bold move, a war-sized response to a quiet crisis. Burkina Faso was still importing food, still vulnerable to global shocks, still dependent on the same foreign hands it was trying to break free from. So in 2023, Traoré launched a new mission, food self-sufficiency, not a slogan, a strategy. Through the National Bureau of Large Projects, over 2,000 young Burkinabe were enlisted, not into war, but into farming, into intensive agricultural training. This wasn't just about planting crops, it was about planting independence. And Traoré didn't stop there. In February 2024, as food prices soared from the ripple effects of the war in Ukraine, Burkina Faso struck a deal with the African Development Bank. A lifeline of 38.4 million euros was secured to launch a national offensive against hunger. Its name, the Burkina Faso Emergency Project to Increase Agricultural Production. Its goal, feed the nation, empower the farmers, and cut the strings of dependency once and for all, because a truly sovereign country must control what it eats, and Traoré is making sure of it. March 2024, another bold move, another declaration of independence, this time on the land. President Ibrahim Traoré rolled out over 78 billion CFA francs in agricultural equipment and supplies, not just numbers on paper, but machines in the field, 400 tractors, 710 motor pumps, all delivered to local producers, to boost productivity, to break the cycle of hunger. And that's not all. To keep the system moving, 70,014 motorcycles were purchased for agricultural agents, men and women deployed across the country to support, teach, and guide the farmers, village to village, field to field. This is more than policy. This is a movement, a revolution in the soil, because Traoré doesn't just want to feed the people, he wants them to feed themselves. And what's truly remarkable? The people are answering the call, especially the youth. They see the vision, and they're ready to build it with him. If this momentum continues, in just a few short years, Burkina Faso could become a global model for food self-sufficiency. And Traoré isn't stopping at crops, he's already thinking ahead. 2 fully operational tomato processing plants have been launched. No more exporting raw tomatoes, no more buying tomato paste from abroad. Burkina Faso is now feeding itself and adding value on its own soil. The dream is becoming real. One machine, one harvest, one factory at a time. Here's the part that shocks most people. These tomato processing plants, they're the first of their kind in Burkina Faso. Now think about that. Burkina Faso is one of the largest tomato producers in Africa. In 2021 alone, 290,000 tons, mountains of fresh tomatoes every year. And yet, for decades, not a single processing facility existed. Not one. Not under Blaise Compaoré, the man who ruled for 27 years after assassinating Thomas Sankara. Not under any of the civilian governments that followed. So what happened? Why was nothing built? Why was all that potential wasted? Enter Ibrahim Traoré, a man criticized by the West, dismissed as just another military ruler. But he saw what others ignored, a nation producing food, but importing what it already grows, a country rich in tomatoes, but dependent on foreign tomato paste. To Traoré, that wasn't just bad economics. It was a national embarrassment, and worse, it was exploitation. Local farmers were being crushed, forced to sell their crops at miserable prices. The rest, left to rot in the sun. No storage, no processing, no value added. So Traoré did what no one else dared. He built, he acted, he delivered. Now Burkina Faso has its own tomato factories, and for the first time, it's turning its own crops into wealth, not for foreign companies, but for the Burkinabe people. And this is just the beginning. This is why Traoré made his move, a tomato processing facility, not just to feed the people, but to end Burkina Faso's reliance on foreign tomato paste. The first plant, built in the town of Yako, a bold leap toward food sovereignty, and a powerful symbol of what's possible when leadership meets vision. It was built in just 462 days, at a cost of 7.5 billion CFA francs. But Traoré didn't stop there. A second, even larger facility rose in Bobo Dioulasso, the nation's second city. This one, worth 11.9 million US dollars. Together, these two plants are a game changer. When running at full capacity, they can produce over 29,000 tons of tomato puree every year. That's not just a number. That's enough to completely eliminate Burkina Faso's need to import tomato paste. But here's the twist. The most inspiring part of this story. Not a single franc came from outside the country. No loans, no foreign investors, no strings attached. The entire project was funded by Burkinabe citizens through a national shareholder initiative. Ordinary people investing in their own future. For the first time in history, a factory in Burkina Faso was built without a penny from abroad. And now, that factory is already producing, under the proudly local brand name, Adia. By next year, imported tomato paste will be a thing of the past. And it all started with one leader's vision and a nation that chose to believe in itself. This is the Traoré era, and it's only just begun. President Ibrahim Traoré has made one thing crystal clear. Burkina Faso's wealth must serve Burkinabe citizens, not foreign corporations, not exploiters, and definitely not terrorists. At the heart of this mission, gold. Burkina Faso is rich in it. one of the top gold producers on the continent. But for years, the profits never stayed home. Foreign companies came in, dug the earth, took the treasure, and left behind little more than empty promises. Worse still, some mines were hijacked by terrorist groups. Their profits, used to buy weapons, to fuel chaos, to kill. Enough was enough. Traoré didn't just watch, he acted. He began by suspending gold mining licenses, putting a halt to unchecked extraction, and demanding accountability. But that was just the first step. The real revolution? Value addition. Traoré launched two landmark projects, a gold factory and a waste mining processing facility. Think about that. For decades, Burkina Faso mined gold, but couldn't even refine it. No gold bars, no finished products, just raw material sent abroad. That ends now. The gold factory will process Burkina Faso's own gold on Burkinabe soil, turning raw gold into wealth, turning a looted resource into national pride. And the waste processing facility? It's designed to extract value from what others discarded. No more waste, no more loss. Every ounce of gold for the people. This isn't just economic reform, it's liberation, one refinery at a time. In 2023, President Ibrahim Traoré made history. Once again, he laid the foundation stone for Burkina Faso's first ever national gold refinery, a dream long overdue, a symbol of sovereignty. Once completed, this refinery will process 150 tons of gold every year, not in Dubai, not in Switzerland, but right here in Burkina Faso. Today, construction is still underway, but the vision is alive, and the ground has already shifted. Because while the refinery is rising, another part of Traoré's gold revolution is already operational. In January 2024, he launched the country's first waste mining processing facility. The location? Kosodo Industrial Zone, just east of Ouagadougou. It was more than a ribbon cutting. It was a statement. We will waste nothing. We will value everything. This facility takes the mining industry's forgotten byproducts and turns them into gold, literally. 1 year after its inauguration, the plant, known as Golden Hand, did what no other Burkinabe operation had ever done. It produced the first gold bars from mining residues once tossed aside. The source? Abandoned fine coal from the Essakane mine. The result? 44 gold bars, weighing a total of 93.197 kilograms. Not shipped out, not hidden in offshore accounts, but handed directly to Burkina Faso's Ministry of Economy. Gold that belongs to the people, gold that now stays home. And for the first time in Burkina Faso's modern history, gold is no longer just extracted, it's transformed, it's preserved, it's owned by the people, for the people. Thanks to a president who refused to let the country's wealth bleed away any longer. These two gold facilities aren't just industrial sites, they're proof that under Traoré, Burkina Faso is finally taking back what's rightfully its own. Its gold, its power, its future. But Traoré's vision doesn't stop at the mines, because what good is national wealth if people can't move freely to access it? That's why, in 2024, Traoré launched a bold new chapter. The transformation of Burkina Faso's transport sector. This time, the revolution came on wheels, a fleet of powerful, fully electric Yutong buses imported from China, not the noisy, rusting relics of yesterday, but sleek, modern machines built for comfort, efficiency, and safety. These buses are no ordinary upgrade. They represent a complete shift in how Burkinabe people travel. Known for their cutting-edge technology, Yutong buses are equipped with advanced features that prioritize passenger comfort, onboard safety, and sustainable operation. This isn't just a transport project, it's a statement that even in mobility, Burkina Faso is done settling for less. Traoré is building a nation where people can move, quickly, safely, with dignity. A nation where the roads tell the story of progress, and the buses carry more than passengers. They carry hope. Hope that Burkina Faso is not only catching up, but moving ahead. But this fleet of Yutong buses? It's more than just a transport upgrade. It's a leap forward, a bold step into a future where mobility meets sustainability. With these electric buses, Burkina Faso isn't just moving its people, it's redefining how a nation moves. For the first time, public transportation isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about delivering world-class solutions to a rapidly growing urban population. This is modern infrastructure, built not just for today, but for tomorrow. By investing in these vehicles, the government is doing more than tackling traffic. It's laying the foundation for long-term economic growth, for cleaner cities, for smarter living. Why Yutong? Because cities like Ouagadougou are changing, fast. Population density is rising. Urban sprawl is accelerating. And with it, so are the problems. Congestion, pollution, wasted hours. But Traoré's answer was clear. Modern, electric, efficient transport. These buses are here to ease the pressure, to reduce carbon emissions, to cut down on traffic chaos, and to bring order, comfort, and clean air to the streets. With this move, Burkina Faso isn't just catching up with the world, it's proving that even in the heart of West Africa, you can drive change, literally. But just when you think you've seen it all, Traoré takes it a step further. Not just roads, not just buses. Now, rails. The government has unveiled plans to build a rail manufacturing plant in Bobo Dioulasso, a city that is fast becoming the industrial heartbeat of Burkina Faso. This won't be just any factory. It will manufacture and lay rail tracks, build train carriages, and process steel scrap, all within the country. It's a game changer, because this isn't just about transport, it's about sovereignty through steel. For the first time, Burkina Faso won't need to import expensive materials from abroad. It will make them, right here, with its own hands. That means more jobs, more local productivity, less foreign dependency, and let's be honest, this might be the most brilliant project yet, because it hits every target at once. It fuels the transport sector. It sparks industrial growth. It positions Burkina Faso as a regional powerhouse, a hub, a bridge, a vital artery in the heart of the Sahel. With this factory, Burkina Faso isn't just building railways, it's laying down tracks to a new future, one where it's no longer left behind, but leading the way. Because Traoré understands something most leaders miss. Connectivity is power, and he's building it, piece by piece. But what is a great nation without a strong, dependable healthcare system? President Ibrahim Traoré knows the answer. Because true independence doesn't end with roads or gold, it begins with the health of the people. In one powerful interview, Traoré said, "My vision is to allow the brave people of Burkina Faso access to specialized healthcare, to guarantee the quality of vaccines at all levels of our health system." And he meant every word. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has launched one of its most ambitious health reforms yet. In July 2024, the government rolled out the Presidential Health Initiative, or IPS, a sweeping, strategic campaign to transform national healthcare from the ground up. As part of the initiative, 55 municipal medical centers and 5 intensive care units are now under construction. The goal? To bring critical medical services, not just to the cities, but to the heart of every Burkinabe community. And this is only the beginning. By the end of 2025, IPS plans to deliver 20 fully operational medical centers, 2 dialysis units, 5 resuscitation blocks, a heart institute, and cutting-edge breast cancer diagnostic tools. Beyond buildings, it includes the training of medical staff, the equipping of specialized services, and the reinforcement of medical infrastructure nationwide. This isn't just about treatment, it's about trust, it's about dignity, it's about the belief that no Burkinabe life is disposable. Under Traoré, healthcare is no longer a privilege, it's a right, and for the first time in decades, that right is finally being honored in every corner of the nation. But President Traoré didn't stop at building hospitals, because what good is a clinic if the people who need it can't reach it? On July 25, 2024, the government of Burkina Faso made a historic announcement: free healthcare services for every citizen, not just in theory, not buried in bureaucracy, but real, reachable care. To bring this vision to life, the government is rolling out mobile clinics designed to travel across the country, from bustling cities to remote villages once forgotten by the state. No citizen left behind, no mother, no child, no elder stranded without care. This is a shift in thinking, a shift in values. Because under Traoré's leadership, healthcare is no longer a commodity. It's a human right, and it's being delivered on wheels, on principle, on time. These mobile clinics aren't just first aid vans. They're equipped for mammography, cervical cancer screening, and other life-saving diagnostics, focusing especially on the needs of women and children. In a country where access to such care was once a dream, it's now a guarantee. This isn't charity, it's justice. And as these clinics begin to roll out across Burkina Faso, they carry more than medicine. They carry a message that under Traoré, no life is too far to save, and no citizen is too poor to protect. But let's pause for a moment and ask a deeper question. How can a nation truly heal its people if it doesn't control its own money? For decades, Burkina Faso has tried to rise, while shackled to a colonial system. Because behind the hospitals, behind the schools, behind every national plan, lurks the one thing Burkina Faso never controlled: its own currency. Like other Francophone countries, Burkina Faso has remained financially dependent on France, long after the French flag stopped flying. Its monetary sector has been dominated by the Central Bank of West African States, BCEAO, which answers not to Ouagadougou, but to Paris. In simple terms, while Nigeria has the Naira and Ghana controls the Cedi, Burkina Faso had no sovereign central bank, no power to print, no power to adjust, no power to decide. And the most shocking part, not one of the country's previous civilian leaders, not even those who ruled for decades, ever challenged it, ever dared to build a truly independent monetary system. But then came Traoré, and with him, a new idea that political independence means nothing without monetary sovereignty. But Traoré saw what others refused to see, and more importantly, he acted. In a historic move, President Ibrahim Traoré launched Burkina Faso's first ever central bank, Burkindlim. With integrity as its compass, he declared, "This bank is both a tool and a symbol of Burkina Faso's economic and financial sovereignty." This wasn't just a policy shift. It was a break from centuries of dependence. For the first time, Burkina Faso had a financial institution rooted in Burkinabe soil, designed for the people, and built to serve the nation's true interests. According to Traoré, Burkindlim would provide more appropriate methods of financing, help structure major projects, and fuel socio-economic development from the inside out. He invited both public and private institutions, development agencies, entrepreneurs, and investors to join him, to use this bank as a platform to build a sovereign economy, by the people, for the people. And the message was clear: the era of foreign-controlled banking is ending. With Burkindlim, the path to ditching the CFA franc is no longer a dream, it's a destination. And Burkina Faso is now on that road. But Traoré wasn't finished. Because what is a rising nation if it can't even control its skies? For years, Burkina Faso's national airline operated like a shadow. It existed, but owned no aircraft, none. While former presidents flew in private jets, the country leased commercial planes, paying millions to the West for something that should have been national pride, a flag carrier without a flag to fly. Until now, Traoré flipped the script, and for the first time in the nation's history, Burkina Faso acquired its own aircraft. A monumental step, not just in aviation, but in sovereignty, identity, and national dignity. Because when a nation controls its banks, its roads, its gold, and now, its skies, it is no longer begging for development, it's charting its own course. For years, Air Burkina, the national airline, barely stayed afloat. Not because the country lacked talent, but because it lacked ownership. Instead of flying its own planes, Air Burkina rented aircraft, caught in expensive leasing deals with Western organizations. These leases were sold as pragmatic, marketed by Western advisors, and rubber-stamped by past governments. But in reality, they were financial traps, a cycle of dependence that kept the Burkinabe skies under foreign control. Then came President Ibrahim Traoré, and everything changed. According to the Prime Minister, Traoré's administration looked at the numbers and saw the truth. Leasing was not sustainable, and it was far from efficient. So, they made a bold move. They pooled the resources, and for the first time in history, Burkina Faso purchased its own aircraft, the Embraer 170. Not just a jet, a symbol of sovereignty, a flying flag of national pride. The plane marked a revolutionary comeback for Air Burkina, no longer a ghost airline, but a real, grounded, and now airborne carrier. And behind the scenes, a silent partner had stepped in. In July 2024, Investment Faso New revealed the existence of a backer. Their name remains hidden, but their intentions are clear: to stand with Traoré, to bet on Burkina Faso's rise. This isn't just government policy, it's cooperation, it's commitment. It's a practical example of what happens when vision meets action, and when leadership inspires others to build, not exploit. Under Traoré, Burkina Faso is no longer asking for wings, it's building them and flying on its own. But a nation can't just rise with roads, railways, and refineries. It must also rise with technology, and in that arena, President Ibrahim Traoré is already years ahead. Unlike most African leaders who treat innovation as an afterthought, Traoré sees digital transformation as the foundation of Burkina Faso's future. And with help from financial partners like the World Bank, that future is accelerating fast. Since 2024, Burkina Faso has launched a full-scale digital revolution. The result? Government efficiency has surged. Processes once plagued by delays and red tape, now streamlined, digitized, transparent. On February 14, 2024, the country's Ministry of Digital Transition unveiled its bold 2025 digital priorities, with Prime Minister Rimtalba Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo leading the charge. The goals? Audacious, necessary, transformational. Complete the national data center, currently 70% finished. Expand network coverage to 500 underserved localities. Digitize administrative services for faster, fairer governance. Roll out WURI, a unique electronic ID system for mass population enrollment, and launch the Digital Transformation Acceleration Project, backed by a $150 million budget. This isn't just modernization, it's liberation through technology. Because in the 21st century, a nation without digital infrastructure is a nation stuck in the past. But under Traoré, Burkina Faso is no longer lagging behind. It's catching up and poised to leap ahead. With each fiber line laid, with every village connected, the country is becoming smarter, faster, and future-ready. But Traoré's digital revolution didn't stop at promises. In 2024, the Ministry of Digital Transition launched a series of groundbreaking projects. First, network coverage for over 130 localities in what were once known as white zones, regions completely cut off from modern communication. Second, the rehabilitation of the national IT network for administration, ensuring that government services run faster, smarter, and more efficiently. Third, construction began on 2 national data centers, massive digital hubs that will anchor Burkina Faso's technological future. And then came the deployment of strategic digital platforms, the backbone for long-term transformation. From electronic signature systems to legislative reforms, the ministry built the legal and technical environment needed to power a digital economy. By year's end, Burkina Faso had achieved an astounding 90.4% of its digital transformation goals. This isn't just about gadgets, it's about a vision to position Burkina Faso as a continental leader in ICT, a country where innovation fuels public administration, education, healthcare, commerce, agriculture. But even that wasn't enough, because in the same year, Burkina Faso reached for the skies, literally. Introducing Burkina Sat-1, the country's first ever satellite initiative, a nano-satellite designed to observe the Earth, monitor agriculture, manage water resources, and help the nation confront the climate crisis head-on. This isn't science fiction, this is Burkina Faso in orbit, a nation once dependent on others for even the simplest data, now gathering its own, building its own tech, training its own engineers. Burkina Sat-1 isn't just a satellite, it's a symbol that Burkina Faso is done waiting, done begging, done being underestimated. It is now a country on the move, a country looking upward and moving forward. The Burkina Sat-1 project is more than just a satellite. It's a message to the world that Burkina Faso is no longer grounded by limitation. It reflects President Traoré's deep commitment to sustainable development, to science, to innovation. Think about it. This is the first satellite ever launched by Burkina Faso. And yet, while navigating security threats, economic reform, and international pressure, Traoré still makes room for the future. He hasn't sidelined science. He hasn't ignored innovation. He's elevated it. It's no wonder senior US military commanders once called him a sophisticated leader. And now, we understand why. But here's what's even more incredible. These are just a few of the projects launched under Traoré's administration. There are more, many more, and more to come. But even if he stopped today, even if these 10 projects were all he accomplished, Ibrahim Traoré has already done more than many African leaders have done in entire decades. From gold refineries to food self-sufficiency, from modern transport to healthcare, space technology, and digital independence, he's not just leading, he's transforming. And the people, they're rising with him, step by step, project by project. Kudos to President Traoré. And even more, kudos to the brave citizens of Burkina Faso who are building a new nation, not through dependency, but through sovereignty, innovation, and unshakable pride. This is not just a story of development. This is the rebirth of a nation.
What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and share this video.